Letters to Santa dimensional cards are really packing a punch with this fun box fold card. So you can see these are going to stand up on the mantle on someone's desk and just really bring a lot of joy with all these Christmas images. So you can see we are going to be creating 3 of these in the step-by-step tutorial. I'm going to walk you through how to create this one and these 2 here. And I'm going to show you all the techniques on how to take a regular card base or just some cardstock and turn them into these dimensional fold-up cards. So these are going to be great for all your Christmas card needs, but also wouldn't these be fun for birthdays, Valentine's, or any other celebratory event? Volume 10 Letters to Santa card kit is going to start off with this sweet little button. You're also going to get the Graphic 45 Ivory trim, our Ephemera Assortment. You get 35 different die cut pieces in there. The Kraft A2 card bases with envelopes. And of course, these gorgeous Letters to Santa papers. You're going to get 24 of these. They're filled with great imagery and fun cut aparts, borders. So easy and fun to work with. And then the Graphic 45 bag to store it all in and a step-by-step project sheet. Get started on our cards. You're going to grab this project sheet. It comes in your kit, but if you're following along with your supplies at home, you can find it for free on our website at g45papers.com. Just go up to Inspiration and down to Project Sheets. It's a beautiful fall day here in the Pacific Northwest, so if you can hear all that rain in the background, I hope you enjoy it. So we're creating our box now, our dimensional pop-up box that folds down flat. So let's get started. I'm using the Graphic 45 Kraft A2 cards, so you can use those. They come in your kit, or if you're just creating along with us and you've got some cardstock at home, you could also use that. This is 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches. So we're going to go ahead and cut down the 5.5 inch part to 5 inches. So we're cutting off 1/2 inch. Like so. And then from this piece we have left, we're going to cut this down to 3 pieces. We're going to have one piece that's 3 inches. And then the other 2 are going to be cut right in half at 2 3/4. Now let's do our scoring. So I've got our card base on the 5 inch side, and I'm going to score this at 3 inches. I'm going to rotate this once, so now I have it on the 8.5 inch side, and I'm going to score this at 2 1/8, 4 1/4, and 6 3/8. So each of my sections is going to be 2 1/8 inches. Now with my 3 inch bit, I'm going to score this right in half. And with my 2 smaller bits, I'm going to score these at 1/4 inch and 2 3/8. A 1/4 inch and 2 3/8. So you can see these tabs are slightly different sizes, but that's going to give us the right measurement between for our box. So next we're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut from the top edge down to our 3 inch score line. So this is the 2 inch part here. So we've got our longer side on the bottom, and we'll do that with all 3 of these sections. So I'm going to cut out about 1/16 of an inch. So I'm going to go on either side of that score line and down there. Like so, and then I will just cut out this excess. And then go ahead and crease on all of your score lines. And with this little guy, I'm going to angle my edges. So I folded it together in half, and then I'm just going to angle about a 90-degree angle, like so. So now we've got our ruler out, and we are going to do a little bit of marking. I'm going to go on my second panel to the left, and just about 1/8 of an inch down from our 3-inch score line, I am going to start marking from this score line here, and I'm going to mark at a 1/2 of an inch and then at 1 1/4. So now I'm going to take my little 2 3/4 inch pieces where I've got my 2 score lines, and I'm going to add a bit of adhesive to my larger of this little scored area. So I've got my smaller one here, my larger one there. And as long as you're keeping it consistent, it doesn't matter which way goes where. So I'm just going to adhere this just right underneath my marked point. So you can see where my score line is where I've lined it up with that 1/2 inch mark point, like so. And then I'm going to fold this up for the time being, and then I'm going to adhere my second piece. So again, I'm going to go on the larger, just making sure that this is all squared up. Okay, so again, I'm going to add my adhesive to the larger of my scored sections here. And this is going to line up with my second line mark that I marked at 1 1/4. So you can see my first one lines up with my 1/2 inch marking, and my second one, the score line, marks up with the 1 1/4 inch marking. So they should be nice and parallel. That's why it's nice to work with liquid adhesive for this step. Make sure your 2 strips are parallel. And then we're going to fold back these 1/4 inch flaps here and add our adhesive. And then I'm going to go ahead and with my last flap on here on the right, I'm going to go ahead and fold this over, making sure that my flaps folded over with that. So you can see I now have my little dimensional flaps inside, and everything's going to line up easily. And I don't have to do that while my box is put together and try to get them lined up in there nicely. And so I find that a lot easier than going about it once your box is put together. So now I'm just going to add this piece onto my edge to seal up my box. So I've added my adhesive to that 3-inch piece. And I want this to be flush edge here. Once you like that placement, add your adhesive on the other side, and then we can close our box together. So now we have our flat folding pop-up box. I'm just going to let that dry a little bit longer, and then this would be the time that you go ahead and continue working on all 6 of your card bases. So our first steps for our card number 1 are going to be to take the B side of Letters to Santa, and we've cut these 2 pieces to be 8 inches by 3 inches and 2 inches by 3 inches. So we are going to wrap those 2 pieces around our box base that we created, and to help make that easier, let's go ahead and do the same scoring we did on our main box piece. So I'm going to score this piece at 2 1/8 on the 8-inch side, 2 1/8, 4 1/4, and 6 3/8. And then with my second piece, this is going to be what brings it all together, since this is going to be a little bit short. This is on my 2-inch side, and I'm going to score this at 1 1/8. I'm going to start with my piece that brings it all together, and I'm also going to start on my hinged edge here. So just wrapping this around. It doesn't really matter if the larger side is on the front or back. And I'm sure we could have even just scored that at 1 inch right down the center, but I was filling those 1/8 of an inches when I came up with those score lines. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this half on one side, half on the other, making sure that my tops are still going to fold down beautifully. Perfect. So now I've got my other piece, and go ahead and pre-crease this, your movement on your box and everything to lay down flat to do these additional scoring and creasing steps. And then we can go ahead and adhere this down. We're going to start this off overlapping where we just adhered. Making sure we're lining up beautifully with the top and bottom. And then just start to roll this baby around. And since we did that pre-scoring, everything just kind of flows together easy peasy. Clean up any excess. Have you made these pop-up boxes before? We'd love to hear in the comments if you have any special tips and tricks for bringing these cuties to life. But so far, it's looking great, and it's been pretty easy peasy. We're going to cut out 4 pieces of holiday cheer, and all 4 of these are just under 2 inches by 2 inches. And then we're going to take our favorite adhesive. I'm using art glitter glue, and I'm just going to adhere all 4 of these onto these little tabs. Next, we're going to cut 4 pieces of dear old Santa that are also just under 2 by 2 inches. How cute are these little Santas? And then I've just flattened my card, and I'm adding these to the outside top flaps of our box. Next, we're going to take this border from Holiday Cheer, and we've cut out one of those to be 8 inches by 1/2 of an inch, and then one of these is 2 inches by 1/2 of an inch. And we're going to do our same scoring procedure here. So 2 1/8, 4 1/4, and 6 3/8. And then with this cutie, I'm just going to score it right. It's actually 3 inches and not 2 inches. So I'm just going to score it in half, and then maybe I'll cut off my excess. I just had miscut mine, so I'm just cutting off that extra inch. So I've got my 2-inch piece here. That's what I'm going to start with. I'm just going to adhere this on the bottom base, and I want this to be staggered from where my other starting and stopping point was. So I've got this going at the bottom flush, and now I'm just going to fold on all these score lines and add our adhesive. Making sure this is going to match up with my first border I put down. So I've got red on the bottom here. And take that bone folder and just get it a nice good burnish on all 4 sides. So looking super cute. To decorate our box, we're going to cut out a few cut-aparts from our sheets. So from our sweet treats, we're going to cut out the Santa's Workshop, and we'll be using this little Happy Holidays side. And then from sweet treats, we're going to cut out this little image here, and then just fussy cut that into 2 pieces, and then we're going to adhere it so it's a little bit smaller and will fit on our card box top. And from our North Pole postage, we're going to cut out 2 green stamps and a red stamp. And from your ephemera pack, you can grab these 3 tickets, this little holly and berries, and this Santa clock. So I'm going to take my box, and I like this side the most for my front, and my strips are horizontal, which is perfect, so I could choose from this side or this side, but this one lays a little nicer, so I'm going with that. I'm going to first start decorating my box flaps here, and then I'll start on the inside. First, I'm going to take one of my stamps. I have 2 green and 1 red, so I'm going to put my red back here, and then my 2 coordinating ones on our side flaps. So if you cut the opposite and you've got 2 red, go ahead and stick those on your side flaps. Always adhering a little bit on an angle, making things a little more exciting. So now I can start adhering in my larger pieces. So this one I'm going to put here on the back. So I'm going to add adhesive to about the bottom inch and slide this little cutie in. And I want to make sure, I'm going to put it a little bit on an angle, but I want to make sure it's still going to stay and be able to go in my envelope if I choose to be, and not be over the top here. Now I'm going to take my postcards, and this is going to go on my second step. So I'm just going to kind of play with this how I like it. So it's a little bit long here, so if I curl this on the end, I can adhere a little bit on the bottom on the back of the right hand side, and then I'm just going to put a strip of liquid on here, since this is only going to go on that smaller strip. It's not the whole back like our last one. Of course, always checking, making sure that you can fold this flat, and that's a good way to get a nice burnish. But we're getting a lot of really good movement and dimension. So on our front here, I'm going to adhere our holly and ivy and our little Santa clock. It's looking so super cute. You can see there's a lot of texture and dimension. It's going to be a lot of fun for all the recipients to display this. So it's looking so festive and cute. Now we're just going to add our ribbon. Of course, if you want to stick this in the middle without adding extra postage, you can leave it like you have it now, and then just add some extra little, your tickets maybe on the front and back, or however you'd like, and you're still going to have a gorgeous card. But I will show you how to add this ribbon. So we're taking our Graphic 45 natural ivory ribbon, and I want to make sure that my little seam is going to be in the front, because I'm going to add a bow on top of that. So I'm just going to measure my ribbon around, and then just overlapping about 1/4 of an inch or so. We can cut our ribbon to fit. And now we'll just add adhesive to our ribbon. Then using my little plaid lines as a guideline, I'm just going to wrap this around all the way to the front, and if I would like, I can cut off my excess. So I'm creating 2 little rabbit ears, and then taking my longer of the 2 where I still have my end going. I'm going to go ahead and tie this up. And then sizing it down to be the perfect size for our little box. And I'm just going to fishtail my little ribbon ends so they're nice and equal. And then I'll adhere that onto our front. And I will let that dry. And if you want to go above and beyond, you can add that little wonderful tag here to the edge like so. I think I'm just going to let mine dry and use my little tickets later. So there you have it. We have finished up our card number 1. So we have one of our pre-put together box cards, and we are going to cut out 2 pieces of Season's Greetings to be 8 inches by 3 inches and one to be 2 inches by 3 inches. And then we're going to score and wrap just like we did before. Add your adhesive and adhere these around the bottom of your card base. After you get your small piece on, then just start to wrap this around. Taking Season's Greetings and Holiday Cheer, we are going to cut 4 pieces of both of those patterns to be just under 2 by 2 inches. Adhere Season's Greetings to the top inside. I've got my pieces, words going right side from, this is the back, this is my front, and then my sides, they both have them going towards the center. But whatever makes the most sense to you, you do it that way. And then on the flap outsides, I've got my stripes going horizontally. Now for step 4, we're going to take Holly Jolly Express, and we've cut out these 'Tis the Season strips that are just about 2 inches by 3 3/4, just under that 2-inch mark, and adhere these. Here's the front of my box and the back. We're going to do a bit of cutting. So from North Pole Postage, we're going to take another one of those stamps. From Sweets and Treats, we are going to take out this wonderful cut apart here. And from Holly Jolly Express, we're going to cut out this little Santa rectangle up here. I'm going to adhere this wonderful journaling card here. And if you don't add the ribbon, this would be a great place to write your little Christmas sentiment. Our little Santa's going to go in the back. Just adding adhesive to the bottom inch. And I'm going to put this on a bit of an angle. Now I'm going to build up with some ephemera. I've got this Holly Jolly and this snowflake. I'm going to just trim off those little tag ends. And starting with my snowflake, I'm just going to add adhesive to the bottom, and I'm going to adhere this on the right-hand side, but just tilt it up about as far as I can go on my little strip. I'm going to add adhesive just to the bottom of Holly Jolly. And just trim this down even more. I know it's kind of hard to see in here, but it's beautifully stuck in there. And then I'm going to take my stamp and snowflake and add these. So we've got this cute little exploding present box with stamps and snowflakes and fun sentiments. And then if you want to add a little extra pizzazz with that grosgrain ribbon, just follow the same steps we did in our card number 1, but with the grosgrain. And there you have it. We've got our card number 2 all finished and dolled up. And then once you're all done with your cards, here's what you can do with some of those leftovers, just pizzazzing that card. And you can see here's my card without the ribbon that fits beautifully in that envelope, ready to be mailed off. First step for card number 3, we're going to take Dear Old Santa Claus, and we're going to cut and score this large piece that's 8 inches by 3 inches and score just how we have all the other ones at 2 1/8, 4 1/4, and 6 3/8. And then we're gonna take the second piece of Dear Old Santa Claus that's cut to 2 inches by 3 inches, and we're just gonna score this at 1 1/8. Next, we're going to cut out 8 pieces of Naughty or Nice that are all just under 2 by 2 inches. Adhere your green snowflakes on the inside top of your box. And then I've taken my best looking Santa pieces, and those are going to go on the outside top. From Holly Jolly Express, we're going to cut out these 2 border pieces. Now I'm going to start working this around, and it's only going to go around 3 sides, and we're going to leave our front empty because we'll be putting a different decorative piece there. So I'm just going to do my ghost folds. I'm just going to not add my adhesive yet and go around and fold my piece around my box. Now that I've done that, I can add my adhesive. So noting where the front of my box is, I'm just going to wrap this around. And then always test folding so we know it can expand and fold, and then go ahead and trim off any excess. We're going to do a similar thing with this smaller border, but we're also going to be using our chevron ribbon. So I've cut this to fit as well, and I've also added some adhesive on either end. That way I'm going to let that dry, and we shouldn't have any fraying on our ends. So add your adhesive to your ribbon. We are going to put this in the center and work this around. I'm just using that plaid as our guide. And then we're going to add that paper border around and trim to fit. From Letters to Santa, we're going to fussy cut out the Santa, this little countdown to Christmas, and our wonderful tag here. And now we're going to adhere this wonderful tag to our front of our card, flush with the bottom, and then just trim that to fit. Card 3, we're going to be spicing up our insides just a little bit to show you a variation of things that you can do with your card supplies. So I'm going to be taking about 3 1/2, 4 inches of ribbon and adding them to the top of my little tags. So to do that, I'm just going to take just a regular household stapler, and I'm going to be very mindful of where my fingers and my staples are going, and staple that once, and then shift just slightly and staple again. So you can see I've done that with all 3 of these little tags. So cute and so easy. So all 3 of those tags came out from our ephemera, and these 2 pieces do as well. And then for cut aparts, we also have this special delivery. So you can see how Nancy decorated hers up. I'm going to change it around just to show you a variation. Of course, you can follow our directions exactly, but if you want to mix things up and get a little creative, add some extra inserts, we want to just show you how to do that. So adding in our Santa to our very back panel, and then on our middle panel here, I'm going to add my next 2 pieces. Perhaps I will leave this for the envelope and add my special delivery on an angle. So just putting my adhesive on an angle, and then I'll match that up making sure I don't cover up too much of that Santa face. And then on our front bar, I'm going to add some of these other fun pieces. So I'm going to cut out just some strips of leftover paper. Then I'm going to add this to just right behind our special delivery, making sure that this is going to stay inside our box, like so. And then I can add this cute little Santa tag right to that. So just put some adhesive right down the center of my Santa tag. Just tucking that in just slightly, and you can always fold over the ribbons if you're going to put this in an envelope. So we've got one fun little explosion piece coming out there, and I'm going to do another one on the other side. Add just a bit of adhesive to the bottom, and then I'm going to slide this behind my special delivery and put that out on an angle, making sure it's going to stay inside my card. And then I'm going to add this cute little tag to that. So just adding some adhesive to that little strip. We've got a lot of fun coming out of this box so far. I'm going to add this stamp to our front here. And then a snowflake to our bottom left. I just added a little ticket decoration to the front, and you can see we've got this super cute little exploding box card for number 3. And then here you can see what Nancy has done. So 2 great ideas that are going to give you great results. And then with those leftovers, here's how you can decorate up that envelope. To create this little gem, you're going to need the North Pole for our North Pole postage for our base here, as well as the stamps that wrap around. And then we're going to use for our outside flaps the Naughty and Nice, and for inside Season's Greetings. And then we're going to have some cut-aparts from Holly Jolly. We have this Here Comes Santa here, and then from Sweet Treats, we've got this cute little cut apart here, and then flip this cutie over for our Holly Jolly cut apart. And with this one, you can see we've got lots of great cut aparts going on here. So for the outside, Nancy has used our border page Holiday Cheer along with this bottom border from Holiday Express. We've got a nice chevron ribbon, and then the underside of our flaps is Holiday Cheer as well. And then inside we have our Letters to Santa B-side on our flaps, and a lot of Letters to Santa's little cut-aparts. So we've got the stamps from Letters to Santa, as well as this Santa's Workshop poster here. And then from our Holly Jolly Express, we have this cut-apart, and the Santa has been fussy cut out as well. And our special delivery stamp comes from our North Pole postage. And then our last card example, you can see we've got our Season's Greetings here on the bottom with Naughty or Nice on our flaps. On our top flap, we've got Holly Jolly Express, and a lot of great ephemera pieces, which make creating so easy breezy. And then a couple of cut aparts from our signature sheet. So we've got these little letters here and a little cut apart there, but mostly it's just ephemera already die cut and ready to roll. So there you have it. We have finished our Letters to Santa cards. These are just the cutest. We hope that you've tried them out as well, and be sure to share your projects with us on Instagram by tagging graphic45 with an @. If you're looking for more fun and fabulous projects, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and then hit that notification bell so you know every time we upload a great tutorial like this one. We thank you so much for joining us, and as always, happy paper crafting.